Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee or tea, sit back, and let's chat about what is happening up in the stars and the planets for today. Actually, today's Friday. Happy Friday to everybody. And we'll be talking not only about today, but also Saturday and Sunday's energies. And of course, today we have, or this evening for you all on the West Coast and Mountain Time and Central Time, you'll have the energy of the full moon, while those of you on the East Coast will experience that just after midnight, so literally on the 14th. Happy Friday the 13th. It is kind of a jam-packed day, don't you think? Let's see, we have people checking in already with us this morning. Good morning, Natasha and Suzanne Fulmer and Asa. Good morning, Kathy, and good morning, Debbie Tibbetts-Tumiel. Sarah Ravenseye, we haven't seen you in a while. It's great to see you, and good morning to you too, Debbie. Great to see you ladies out there, and anyone else who joins us. Allison, I see you getting ready to join us. So welcome, and let's kind of dig in. I have busy pages. I have actually 2 pages of information today. And I also brought my Mayan astrology book. This is How to Practice Mayan Astrology by Bruce Schofield and Barry C. Orr. And in this book, I can get you your Mayan symbol for your birthday, and I can also then equate that to your Pleiadian-Earth energy one. And as well, then, I have the Pleiadian-Earth Energy Astrology book, Charting the Spirals of Consciousness by Pia Orlean and Colin Barrett-Smith. And this book is jam-packed as well, right? I'm thinking, and I'm pretty sure Pia has also made this true for me as well, that the Pleiadian-Earth Energy Astrology and Mayan astrology are sort of married, in that it was likely the Pleiadians who gave the Mayans their wisdom, as in the Mayans always said that they got their cosmology from the star people, and yet they didn't have there's nothing in the records that says where those star people came from, just that that's where they got this information. So it's pretty likely that they got them from the Mayans got it from the Pleiadians, who might have been visiting the Earth right around that time, if not still visiting us. You never know, right? Suzanne says, blessed day. Allison, good morning. Asa says, namaste, happy full moon. Monique Alexander, good morning to you. Kathy says, good morning. Rebecca's joining us. Christine Erickson and Linda are joining us. Jody from let's see, Van Strat. I cannot remember. Belgium, Netherlands. I can't remember. But welcome, Jody. Rebecca gives us a butterfly, a transformational butterfly. Tom joins us this morning. Oh my gosh, Tom, there must be something going on. Awesome for you to be up this early. And Debbie said, so if you're doing a card pulling or anything today, or yes, okay. And Jan Landry, happy full moon to you as well. So let's dive in and talk about what's going on, so that perhaps I can get to, where are my cards? Are they there? They are. So we can get to cards perhaps, and we can get to some of the other energies that we want to talk about. Today the moon is in Pisces all day, but it is getting ready for its full state, and it is busy making contacts to just about every planet on its way over to meet up with the opposition to the sun, otherwise known as the full moon. So we have the moon today in a sextile to Saturn. Remember, a sextile is sort of the talents of each one of those planets moving together well. We have a square to Jupiter. Not always so good. We tend to want to over-exaggerate, overdo whenever those two come together. So we'll want to make sure that we modify our behaviors so that we're not, getting into territory where we're overdoing it, over-imbibing, over-daydreaming, over-physically engaged in something. We want to keep that balance. The biggest news today is the planet Neptune and, Mars and the moon in an opposition. As well, the moon conjunct Neptune. So the moon conjunct Neptune opposing Mars. So that's a pretty big call. We talked a lot about that yesterday, about Mars and Neptune, where we are working through the energies of spirit and matter, spirit and action. And I'm trying to reach back to my notes to see what I actually said about that, but those are the wrong notes, but it doesn't matter. If you remember, we were talking about Neptune, and it's spiritual, and it's sometimes foggy and not clear, and Mars wants determined and decisive action. And so together they create a bit of confusion, a bit of a whirlwind. And if there were any major decisions you had to make, Mars may be pushing you to make those decisions, but Neptune is keeping the energy around you kind of confused, or in sort of disarray, let's say. I know yesterday oh my gosh, what was it? Right after I got off with you guys, I take the video and I download the video from the morning, and then I dispense it out to Blog Talk Radio, YouTube, and all the things that I normally do. And then the last thing that I do is I go to my website and I upload the video to the website, change the date, and put in the new information, so the website information is always up to date. In the process of doing that, I don't even know what happened. My homepage disappeared. Like, everything on the homepage was gone. And I was so dismayed because I just knew that I didn't do it. I didn't do it. I thought I put this on mute. I didn't do it. I swear I didn't do it, but something happened and I did not know what to do. I felt so powerless in that moment. And so I quick put out a call to Amy, but I kind of knew Amy is my friend that's been helping me do this in the background, but I seemed to have remembered she was going on a hike and she was going to be out of touch all day. And indeed, I couldn't get a hold of her. And anyways, I was forced, dang it, I was forced to have to stop everything that I was trying to do, because I had to realize I was way out of my league here. I just couldn't do it. And I couldn't fix it. Everything I did, it seemed like I was messing it up further. And I was like, okay, stop. And I could feel the anxiety, the angst, the upset, and all of that just center mass right here in my stomach. I decided to go for a walk, and I came back, and of course the problem was still there. And then I was like, oh. Then I got the inspiration to reach out for help. Well, these days, guys, isn't it hard? If you want to talk to a person because you're having an issue with something, you can't talk to people. You can't get them. And it's very difficult anymore to get a person on the phone. Like, I had a PayPal issue the other night, and finally, after about 15 or 20 minutes of trying, I actually got a live person, on the phone who was able to fix my problem in like 10 minutes while I, was sitting there just watching what she was doing. And then yesterday I went, okay, well, maybe I can get a hold of somebody at WordPress. Not. Maybe I can get a hold of somebody at Bluehost. Not. So finally I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Then I get an email from WordPress telling me, oh, there's a problem on your website. Duh, you think? And you need to contact Divi, who is the person that has the framework for the website. The themes and all of that come through them. So I get them on a chat, kind of a chat screen, like, you guys are chatting with me here in the morning. And literally within about 30 minutes, they had it fixed for me, but they stuck with me with, having me do a couple of different things that I could do on my end, but on their end, they managed to fix it for me. So don't ever underestimate that. If you can't get a hold of a live person via the phone, the chat forums and things that people are on also are very, very helpful. They are great people. And I've used the chat forums with many things. In fact, I like using chat, but sometimes, typing out what your problem is versus speaking it is a little more difficult. But these people seem to know exactly what I was saying. Thankfully, within about a couple of hours, it was fixed. So if any of you went to my website yesterday during the day and saw no homepage, that would be why. There was a fiasco, and now it's fixed. So good morning, Elisa. Good morning, Jody. She says, big group today on this full moon day. Yes, indeed. Tom said yesterday you were going to do the Mayan thing. And Tom, if you weren't with me in the very, very beginning, I showed the book. I have the Mayan thing right here, my Mayan thing. And there's so much in both of these books. I've also got the Pleiadian thing. So we will get to that. Elisa says, I will be a vendor all weekend. Wish me luck. Good luck to you, Elisa. I hope it goes well for you. And Suzanne is replying to you saying best of luck. Christine is happy full moon. And so let's go on to some of the other energies that are happening for today. So beyond the moon making several connections today, by the way, there's also a sextile to Pluto. If there's one to Saturn, there's going to be one to Pluto. And sure enough, late in the day, we see that happening. So there's a deep, intense, and emotional wave rolling through our energy during the day today. Actually, this takes us more into the evening, just before the full moon occurs. Again, if you're on the West Coast, that occurs at 9:33 p.m. this evening, and Mountain Time an hour later, Central Time 2 hours later. If you're on the East Coast or in the Eastern Time Zone or in Europe, it's going to happen after midnight, in which case, or for you guys in Europe, it'll be in the early morning. So it'll be on the 14th rather than on the 13th. So, and I thought that was an interesting split, right? To have it happen where some of us are on a very sacred and hallowed day, and others are not any less hallowed or sacred at being a full moon, but just not on this with the same connotation behind it. And it just makes me wonder if there's some need here in at least 3/4 of the United States to really get into our spiritual selves, to really help force the energy, not force maybe, but push the energy to change as we move out of the full moon window later on. Today, there's also a Mercury conjunct Venus. We knew this was coming. We've been seeing it gather together. They are conjunct today at the 29th degree of Virgo. So we have lessons and karma, and we can look back over the course of the time. These two have been in Virgo literally for the last month, and look deeper, see what are the lessons that we've been learning about being practical, down to earth, seeing the details, also being able to see the bigger, wider picture, using imagination and actually making it real. These two have been minding the heart and the mind. So they've been trying to help us meld the two of those together. They've pretty much been in lockstep, not this close, but very close today, as in the conjunction happens later on. And then they move together tomorrow, basically just a couple hours apart, into the sign of Libra. So for the weekend, we have a shift in the energy from mostly Virgo into that split between Virgo and Libra. And then, of course, the others will follow into Libra as we move further into September and October. So we can feel that shift perhaps because Virgo energy is completely different from Libra energy. Libra energy puts our minds and our hearts focused then on relationship as we move into the later part of this month. And then we also have the Sun trine Pluto today. The Sun being the force of our identity, the full energy of who we are. And in a trine to Pluto in Capricorn, we are rebuilding ourselves, remaking ourselves, and reestablishing perhaps who we want to be in the world and how we are calling that out of ourselves and out into the world. And then the Mars opposing Neptune. So today is a highly energetic day. If you're feeling tired, if you're lagging, if your phone is ringing because you forgot to turn it off, and it's still gonna ring. Phones, they're so annoying. I don't even know why I have, oh yes, I have a home phone only for one reason. I get a discount for my internet and my television. But that doesn't make it stop ringing when there are idiots calling, to try to sell me something. The other day, this girl calls. I thought it was a girl, and it was a woman, but she was a recording calling me. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I can't stand that. I have robocall block or something like that on my phone, but it doesn't block all the robocallers. And it's just so irritating, but what are you going to do, right? Okay, Mars, Neptune, Sun, Pluto, Mercury, Venus. We have right there 6 planets that are all in sort of this flux energy. So if you're feeling crazed, if you're feeling confused, it's because there's so much going on. And in this, all I can say is be kind to yourself. Bring your heart and your mind together. Put them in a coherence, right? If you go to the Heart and Math Institute, you can read a lot about coherence. between the mind and the heart, or the brain and the heart. And this is where we get to actually see the transits that bring that up and make it possible for us to do that. So very, very busy day. We're going to dig into the full moon in a little bit. I want to go over Saturday very quickly, because tomorrow the moon, of course, as soon as the full moon occurs tonight, 9:33 p.m., 12:33 a.m. on the 14th for you on the East Coast, it turns void. It moves into the void. So the full moon is the last contact, the sun opposing moon, last contact before the void occurs. And we are void all the way until 3:32 tomorrow afternoon. My time, 6:32 p.m. for you all on the East Coast, when the moon moves out of Pisces and into Aries. So we're really hit with that full moon energy for an extended period of time. So we have time for completion. We have time to have sort of integration of whatever epiphanies or ahas come up for us during that period of time. So we are left with that energy, and make the best of it. I'm guessing that if we were to meet up on Saturday sometime, many of you would have some pretty profound dreams to share with us. Symbols in your dreams, maybe confusion in your dreams, maybe downright prophecy in your dreams, because that's the kind of night we have tonight as you go to bed. Don't be surprised if you have some wicked dreams. Wicked good, or wicked like, oh my God, that can't be true. But be calm, cool, and collected. Wake up in the morning, or wake up from your dream. Take some notes, because there might be something symbolic in there, some symbolic message for you that you want to be able to write down. So the moon is void, of course, in Pisces, and then it turns over into Aries. And then the moon opposes Venus and Mercury in their conjunction at the 0 degrees of Libra. So those of you whose birthdays are right at the cusp between Virgo and Libra, and I know I have a couple of clients of you out there like this is going to modify your entire year, with Mercury and Venus in a conjunction, still very close and tight to one another. So you're going to be dealing with heart-mind issues, coherence, bringing them together for the entire year. And those of you who are also maybe Geminis, Sag, Pisces, and Virgos are also going to be working with this energy of this full moon for a bit of an extended period of time. When we wake up on Saturday morning, Mercury and Venus are both in Libra at that time. Some of you may feel a shift and feel much better, right? Because that Virgo energy has been really pushing us to do a lot of work. You may find, because Libra is the sign that rules the adrenals and the kidneys in the body, you may feel burned out. If that's the case, take the weekend off. Be good to yourselves. Be restful. And others of you may feel more energized. And if that's the case, don't overdo it, but definitely, get into that energy. Now, there's also a shift with Mercury and Venus in your human design, and they both move into the gate 46. Did I leave I did. Here we go. The gate 46, and this is yesterday's chart, and so it's not going to be marked yet, but right here is the gate 46. It is on the identity center, right? The center for your soul, the center for your identity, the inner compass that is always there, ready to guide you and bring you or attract to you the right people in the right time, the right opportunity, the right place, etc. The gate 46 is called the love of the physical. It is a love gate. This is all in preparation for when the sun gets to this degree, and that shows us the turning of the seasons. The turning of the seasons always happen with some configuration of the gates of love. And this is the gate of love that brings us into physical completion, what a harvest time. And so we are able to see perhaps and reap the benefits of the things that we have sowed over the last 2 seasons, right? When we went into spring and then when we went into summer. So Mercury and Venus will both be sitting at the gate 46. Now, interestingly, let me pull this out because I want to make sure I word this correctly, because this particular gate in the gene keys, The alignment at this gate is in its lowest expression, is the gate of seriousness, right? Seriousness is the shadow energy. And in the gift energy, it's the energy of delight, right? Delight. And in its highest expression, it is ecstasy. So we kind of get a feel here that part of our inner compass, part of the basis of who we really are and what we need to attract into our lives to be in the right place at the right time with the right people is light, is love, is delight, is happiness and joy and excitement. I mean, we could call this any number of things, but ultimately it's delight, and seriousness is a shadow. So when we are being too serious, when we are looking at the world through a dark lens, we're in the wrong place. We're in the shadow energy. And even though we have some difficult transits coming, especially as we move closer to 2020, it's always good to remember that we're here to be the light, right? We're here to extend the light and not be so serious, right? Seriousness, the shadow; ecstasy, the siddhi, the highest expression of the energy in this gate. Yay! I like that. Some of you who are also the 0 degrees Libra, 29 degrees Virgos, you late 29 degrees Virgo. No, I guess it would be 0 Libras. You also have the sun in your natal charts at this gate. Your whole life is about not being serious, right? Finding a way to be light, finding a way to be spirit in action. So an interesting gate for us to have a lot of focused energy at through Mercury and Venus for the next few days, and ultimately, not next week, but the week after, the sun will arrive in that gate as well. And Mars, of course, eventually will get there too. All right, let me check and see if people have questions out here. Good morning, Latricia and Lynn and Susan Glavin. Allison says, I'll sleep with my journal for sure. Also, remember, who was it that told us this? Or was it me reading something? Who knows? Sometimes I think I have conversations with people that I don't, but nevertheless, get a glass of water and put it by your bed and use the water as a way to remember your dreams, right? You can set the intention that this water will hold the memory of the dreams so that they don't slip away from you before you can get them in your journal. So journal, pen, glass of water, all by your beds this evening, and maybe even Saturday night when you go to bed, as we're still, with that energy, being able to tap in to something profound, perhaps a message for us from maybe the cosmos, or from our inner world, from our inner subconscious mind or unconscious mind. Okay. Oh, I was checking to see if anybody had questions. Definitely feeling gate 46 this morning. Good for you. Good morning. Joined a bit late, but happy to be here. We're happy to have you, Lynn. Kristen, good morning. Chanel, good morning. Angela, good morning. It's lovely to see everybody here today. So now before I get in, let's do Sunday really quick. Not much for Sunday. The moon has moved into Aries, and it is in a square to Saturn. So remember, anytime the moon's moving through Aries or Cancer, we are squaring that aspect over here with Capricorn. Excuse me, if it's moving through Cancer, it's opposing those planets in Capricorn. But when it moves through Aries and Libra, it squares them. It challenges us. We might be a little bit challenged on Sunday to restructure something in our lives, to maybe let go of something that doesn't support the structure. Remember, the full moon time is about releasing, and it can possibly be about completion. It can be also a revelation time. So if in the revelation you realize you've been holding on to something, Sunday allows you the space to let it go, because Moon in Aries wants new, right? Wants to begin something, wants to move that piece forward on the chessboard and not stay stuck in the old pattern. So we have that on Sunday, but that's it. Right? I think we've earned it after both Friday and Saturday's crazy aspects. So there we go. Now let's take a little bit deeper look at the full moon and what it means. So when we have this full moon, if you look here, I've even highlighted it for us. This little grid, if you'll remember, tells us what element all of the planets are located in. And remember, I use a lot more elements than a lot of astrologers do. So this looks really busy in Earth, doesn't it? In fact, if we counted that up, there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Magic number 13 in Earth at this full moon. And literally the only thing that is in air at all is called the vertex, which is a mathematically contrived point. It does have meaning in the backdrop of the chart, but it's not a planet. There are no planets in air at all during this full moon. And that's really interesting because what that shows us then is the focus is on the spiritual and the emotional, as well as being in the physical. Air rules the mind. Ideas and inspiration coming in through the mind is what's left out of this equation in favor of what we feel and what we are intuiting or what's coming into us through spirit. So if you're feeling this energy, but maybe feeling uninspired, maybe you're not feeling inspired to do anything at this point in time, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised because of all of this sort of chaotic energy that's there. Then do something for someone else. Take your energy and focus it outward on helping your neighborhood, someone in your family, some of your friends, maybe something bigger in the community that's going on. Turn your focus outward and do for others. That will help you be able to do something worthwhile and feel good about what you're doing while you're waiting for the clarity to come from within. Here's another great question for us all of us to be contemplating during this time. With the full moon sitting in the sign of Pisces, it puts the focus again on our energies of victimhood and martyrdom. So maybe where are you still playing victim or martyr? Maybe that's a great thing to be contemplating while you're moving through this energy. Now, when we look at, remember I've always told you guys that these energies don't just happen in a vacuum. Because they comprise an axis. So when we're talking about Virgo, we can't just say everything's happening in Virgo, nothing over here in Pisces, because they sort of work in tandem with one another. So I thought it might be useful for us to look at what that axis represents in your chart, because whether it's activated for you, in a very personal way or not, you still have this axis in your chart. And it is literally the axis of order versus disorder. Order versus chaos. So the Virgo side, of course, rules the order part, the routine, the practical application of everything. Our physical health comes through Virgo. Order is finite, right? There's a finite quality to earth energy in Virgo. Pisces, on the other hand, is visionary energy. It's imagination energy. It is not practical. It is not organized. It is disorder versus order. And it is your spiritual health versus your physical health. And it represents infinity, the infinite, the unknowable, instead of what's knowable and what's finite. So when these two energies are out of balance in your life, you may be experiencing it as one of two things: utter chaos or excessive control over trying to keep things in order. So here we have this possibility of letting go of our connection to either, right? We both are needed. The axis is there. And no air planets during this lunation give us the opportunity to get out of our heads and to jump more fully into our bodies and more fully into and feel our divine selves within our bodies. And that is until the next day, Saturday, in the morning, when Mercury and Venus both move into Libra, which then we have air energy available again. So if you tune into this full moon at all, tune into the more spiritual and emotional parts of yourselves, the heart center, and feel what needs to shift in your life based there, as opposed to what your mind wants to tell you all the time. The mind is the chatterer, and in this case, mind is out for the time being, right? Let's say it's quieted down for us, luckily. Okay, let's see. Any comments about that? Sarah says, my Virgo Libra cusp friends are some of the most socially happy and positive to be around, and love them. I'm a cusp of Libra Scorpio, so I'm too criticizing by nature, unfortunately. Let's change that word for you. Let's change it from criticizing into discerning, right? Discerning. So you may have a critical eye or an idea about how things should come into alignment, how things would be better, but you have discernment at your fingertips so that you don't have to blurt out those things to other people, and you don't have to turn it inward with that Scorpio sting to yourself, right? So discernment, you have discernment. And that doesn't take, you may very well have a critical eye. You may be able to see how to perfect things in a way that other people cannot see it. But that doesn't make you a criticizer unless you choose to do that. It makes you discerning. Okay, I hope that helps. Alisa says, thank you. Colleen, good morning to you. And Sarah likes that better. Yeah, exactly. And discernment, of course, is also a Virgo term. And so it's a Virgo term because Virgo is very discriminating in their tastes and in what a Virgo in its power can be very clear about how to purify an environment, about what it takes into its body, how to bring things back into balance in the physical body. So it's also discernment, and that it has a discriminating eye in terms of is that going to be good for me? Is that good for my environment? Is it perfect for my business? Is it, there's a perfection piece there that Virgo has that can also be termed discerning. So lots of you we all have discernment, actually. In fact, there's a gene key for discernment, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to find that one. And I'm not seeing. There it is. Gene key 13. Empathy in the highest, discernment in the gift, and discord in its lowest. So discernment is also a part of our genetics. That's the point, right? So we all have it, and some of us use it in different ways than others, or some of us use it and some of us don't. So there we go. All right, any questions about the full moon? Anything going on personally that you want to talk about? In the meantime, while I'm waiting for you guys to bring up any questions or see if there's any questions, let's talk about the Pleiadian-Earth energy for the weekend. Today we have 4 evolving, which is Kaban in Mayan, which is earth or earthquake. Interesting energy for a day where we'll have the full moon. Something shaking up your reality. Returning it to a point where you can move on up, right? If you felt stuck on that spiral, like you're in that groove and you can't seem to get beyond it, something can happen to cause evolution today, to move forward. The universal energy 4 is about being erring on the side of stability and building of a stronger foundation, putting in deeper roots. So we have the ability today, before we get to the 5 energy of Saturday, to lay down something that has more lasting ability, or to shore up something that has maybe exposed weaknesses. If we see an exposed weakness, then it's a great day to make that stronger. And then you can possibly see the next step in that evolutionary spiral. Watch out for getting stuck, right? Getting stuck in that old mind conversation, that chatter that keeps you locked into a pattern. Watch for that and be willing to get ready to push through that. Saturday is 5, self-regulating. 5 is the universal energy of change, transformation, upset, movement, and it is paired tomorrow with the earth energy of self-regulating, which is Etznab in Mayan, which was the obsidian knife, the ability to move in and surgically remove or cut out that which is not working in your life. That being able to see yourself in truth and authenticity, and not through that veil of discord or that veil of confusion, being able to see clearly, and in that then being able to make change that is specific to you, right? That helps you transform. Sunday, we are in 6, catalyzing energy. The 6 energy represents flow on all levels. So that means mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual levels. It is about tapping into the abundant nature of the universe. And it is catalyzing energy on the earth, which is Kawayak in Mayan, which was representing a thunderstorm or a storm, and how a storm can clear the air. So catalyzing energy. On Sunday, we are beyond the full moon, and maybe we have some clearer sailing ahead of us. Maybe we've been able to let go, surrender, do the Pisces, surrendering, let go, and let God, and move on right into new territory. So Sunday to me looks like the best day in terms of being able to take action, having some clarity, how the storms blow out the old energy. Sunday, also the moon will be in Aries all day. That also gives us that energy of beginning, and that makes sense. I hear frogs outside. We had some major rain last night, and the frogs are loving every minute of it, and I can hear them outside going chirping. What do? They croak, I guess. So frogs croaking out there, and I love hearing that sound. Okay, comments. Linda, yesterday you referred to me as Little Linda. This surprised me. As a child, no one ever said Linda without putting little in front of it. I am being directed to write my memoir called Little Linda. Wow. Linda, if I remember correctly, you're a generator. Either that or a manifesting generator, which means that you're waiting to do things based on response to what you see, hear, feel, or something that is in your outer world that you're responding to. So I have no idea why I would have called you Little Linda. I have no idea. I don't recall even saying that. However, if I said that and you heard that, then that is maybe your go-ahead, that your idea, your memoir idea is correct, and that it is time to take action on it, right? We are always dancing as generators and manifesting generators with that outer world. And if that gives you something to respond to, because it matches an idea that you've had, then that's the universe using me as the tool to give you the information to go on. I love it. Suzanne, my son will be 31 on the 15th. What returns does he have going on this year? The 15th will be on Sunday, so he will be post full moon. He will have a Mercury and Venus conjunction of sorts, although Mercury, being the faster of the two, will have moved a little ahead of Venus. They will both be in Libra, and the moon will be in Aries. So depending on where his moon was when he was born, this year may give him some energy of new beginnings. Maybe there's something different going on for him. Age 31 is a 4, which brings limit and, kind of the boundary energy, and perhaps even building more stability in his life. So I don't know how that plays out, but today is my girlfriend Joanne's 75th birthday. Do you have a message for her? Linda, I would just say happy birthday, Joanne. I don't have a clue what to say about her except, on a full moon, what is she willing to let go of? Where is she willing to go next? Debbie, found a buyer for my parents' house. Woohoo! You know what, Debbie? I was just thinking about that yesterday or the day before. You and I were having a text conversation about your parents' house, so I don't remember what day that was. And I thought, you know what? That thing is going to sell pretty soon. I thought that, but I didn't want to say that and get your hopes up. How funny. It's less than I would have wanted to get for it, but my sister has been so sick, her health and letting the stress go for her to heal is more important to me. So we are letting it go and moving on. Besides, these people will make it look pretty again, and it will have happy energy with a new family living there. That's wonderful, and I'm so excited, and I'm so glad that you all were able to let go and just move on, right? That's awesome. Suzanne says, oh, please pray for that for him. He needs this. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Yeah. It's interesting to find your birthday in the midst of the chaos of these kinds of transits, right? Because there's the possibility that a lot can be disturbed and disrupted for people whose birthdays are, in these couple of days. So if I looked at a solar return chart for any one of them, we might see utter, change going on in specific areas of their chart, probably 1 or 2 houses or areas of their lives where this is happening. And for them, unlike us, that it happens on these couple of days and then we're, moved on, for them, this may be an elongated period of change for them, because it's not just happening on that day. It is a theme that sets up for them for the year. It can be a very catalyzing year for them as things are coming and going and moving and shaking. And Most people, some people don't do very well with that kind of change, and it can be very disturbing for them, and other people thrive in that kind of change. So it really depends on each of their charts as to whether they're going to thrive or, be in upset over that. So my advice would be to get them a solar return reading. Colleen says, I was born under this moon. And so for you, what timing is in place for you? What is the time right for you to do or be or change or let go of, Colleen? So that makes sense to me. And Suzanne says, I'll have to check his chart. Indeed, I wish you would do that. Let me know. You can just let me know. Asa says, the 1st and 7th house for my son. Oops, I just got that. Whose birthday is today, 28 years old. That's right. He's the one who is in a multiple 7 year. And he's at his Saturn return likely, or coming into his Saturn return. And that is also a banner time. So 1st and 7th house, first house would be in strengthening of the self, right? Self-acceptance and self-love and self-appreciation, healing of the self, education of the self, the revisioning or reimagining of the self in juxtaposition to relationship. So maybe if he's in a relationship, being able to see himself more clearly, or what is it that relationship show him about himself, can be a very interesting year for him as well. Turning 28, he's certainly in that time period. Likely he is, his Saturn is probably right around 26 to 29 degrees maybe of, it's hard to pinpoint that one, but Saturn is in the later degrees of Capricorn likely, and he's at that return, or will be within the next 6 months or so. Okay, and that's a busy, busy time, right, for recalibrating oneself, rebuilding of oneself. Debbie Tippett's Tumiel, and go to its, I can't read what that says, Debbie. It's going to be a good weekend. Good. My longtime friend Anita is flying in to visit, and we will have a metaphysical fair this weekend. Sounds like a great time to have a metaphysical fair. Sounds like a great time to bring in more spiritual energy. So for any of you going to metaphysical fairs this weekend, get a reading. Do something, right? Get a reading. Okay, so I think that is all that I had to share with you this morning. So now I am going to start asking people and to 0 degrees Aquarius. So tell him to circle this date on the chart, Asa. December 21st, 2020. Circle that day on his chart. That is the day of his solar return. And that is also a banner day for all of the world as we shift out of or into a new spiritual evolution of Saturn and Jupiter together, because Jupiter and Saturn are conjunct that day at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So it's not often that we get to just know right offhand where his Saturn return will be, but that's it. And on that day. Now, he's also in that time period now, so he's building up toward that. Some astrologers will tell you that literally from the moment that you get within about 10 or 15 degrees of your Saturn return, you begin to experience that Saturn return-like energy. So he's darn close, right? Saturn is at 14 or so degrees right now in retrograde, 1356, 14 degrees. It turns direct next week and will begin moving forward again. And that is maybe going to return a little bit of pressure on him this year to grow up, right? To stabilize, to make some deep choices that are going to last for the next 30 years almost for him. So it's an important time. It is often a time of recognition on one's part that, damn, I've got to choose something. I've got to grow up. I've got to mature. And if not, then Saturn will put a lot of pressure on them to do that during the year. If you do it willingly, then it's not so bad. But if you go kicking and screaming, then Saturn throws up a fit for you. Okay, Rebecca, so would you say the coming Pluto-Saturn conjunction could be seen as an empowering aspect in a solar return chart potentially at least. Yes. Oh, yeah. Saturn and Pluto, you know, they're malevolent planets for most people. In most astrological speak, we talk about them in their negative form, right? Saturn in disrupting structures, exposing weaknesses, and Pluto as a transformer, causing death and rebirth, right? Causing death in order to be reborn. So the two of them have, you know, a reputation, a bad rep in that. But when we are willing and we are able to see where we can become empowered by letting go, these two work well together to help us rebuild, regenerate, and to establish a solid foundation, and then to be able to move forward powerfully into that transformation. Now you have to remember those are outer world planets, and literally the Saturn return makes it personal for us. But what's happening in January of 2020, and as we move through 3 separate times, Jupiter getting involved in it in 2020, we're looking at transpersonal changes and collective change. So it's not so much personal. Right now, you are going through the personal changes. Right now, you are being set up to be able to have a new understanding, a new spiritual understanding of your effect in the world, so that when we get to those bigger world changes, you don't personally fall apart. The outer world is doing that. The outer world is changing. But if we all have learned the lesson and are embodying the divineness, embodying and creating with intention the world that we want to live in, then we have an opportunity to really affect the field and cause that transformation to move in positive ways, right? Instead of the more discordant and authoritarian energies that are really what are in our faces, right? In almost every country that you look at that makes it in the news, our rights are being undermined, established constitutions are being undermined. They're being tested like little holes being poked in it, waiting to see how are we as the individuals going to rise to that occasion, or are we going to let them get away with it? Because once you are undermined, right, then there's a weakness, there's a chink in the armor, and then it can be caused to crumble or to become destroyed. And right now, then, the power is in us to be empowering ourselves to remember what we focus on is what we create, and that we are creating this, that we have the power because we are the creators, the co-creators in this. And if we keep our mind focused on what we can do and on helping to rebuild and reestablish new paradigms, then the old crumbles away. So even though you will be affected in some ways by what's crumbling, you don't necessarily have to see that as a personal crumbling. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you guys, because these things are bigger world celestial events as opposed to the more personal ones. But it is happening personally in your chart, which means there is a place for you in this paradigm shift, in this ascension, if you will. Okay, great. Good. Yep. You guys are all welcome. Could we get a card for the collective for the weekend? We will definitely do that. So, but what I want to do now in the last 10 or 15 minutes here, I want you all to start giving me your birth dates. And I can do this fairly quickly, but I need your birth date, and I need to know if you were born before sunrise or after sunrise. So that means you have to take into consideration where you were born and what time of year, because you might have been born at 6 a.m., but that's before sunrise. Does that make sense? So give me your birth dates, and some of you, how long my Chiron, yeah. How long is your Chiron focus in Aries? And yeah, this is, people right now, your Chirons are in retrograde until after January. So you're elongating that Chiron return at the moment. So for those of you that have Chiron right around that 4, 5, or 6 degrees of Aries, you are elongating that return at the moment because it's in retrograde, it's moving backwards. And then in January, it will move forward. And due to the elliptical nature of its orbit, it takes a while to get going, and it will move over your Chiron your natal Chiron again. So you may have it extended out for as much as a year while it's doing this dance back and forth. So, okay, new comments 15. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm going to do this as quickly, and I got to go back. Hold on. 15 new comments. Everybody just jumped in there. So first was Latricia. So I'm going to look yours up. You were born, do I have the right book? November 29th. Okay, good. 1973. So what I'm doing is I am giving you your astrology, your Mayan astrology sign. I won't have much time to explain what all of that means for you, but it will give you the opportunity to do a Google search and find out more information on it for you. So 1973. This is going to be the longest time finding that in the book. November 29th, was it? Yes. So November 29th of 1973. You were born in 11 Ben, B-E-N, 11 Ben. And then if we look at that in our in our Pleiadian calendar, Ben is the energy of exploring, and 11 is the energy of illuminating. So you are an 11 explorer. So you're here to illuminate, bringing light to exploration, new territory, finding new things, exploring the world, harmonizing opposite points of view perhaps with people, also seeing other parts of the world, traveling, etc. Okay, so that's for you, Latricia. Sarah, 10/25/91. Let me move ahead to 91 here. And born at 3:25. Okay, good. 1991, 10/25, October 25th. You were born an 11 Eb, E-B. And Eb represented the road in Mayan astrology. So, and 11, obviously, light and illumination. And Eb in the Pleiadian is choosing energy. So you have to avoid making selfish choices in your world or in your life and working with the collective to heal and nurture. That's the road you're here to do. Settling differences with people. That sounds, good for someone who might someday become a judge or might someday, be working in advocacy or something like that. Okay, so that was for you, Sarah. And interesting that two people back to back were 11s. Rebecca, she was November 14th, 1983. So I'm going to go back this way now, 83, November 14th. November, other end. Here we go. November 14th would make you an 8 Auk. Auk is dog, loyal, trustworthy, sticks with people. The 8 energy is connecting energy. So you are involved with bringing accelerated communication and abundance to the world. So the 8 energy of connecting is, always seeing how you can connect the dots. And 8 or Auk in the Pleiadian energy is devoting, community-oriented and harmonious, loyal, and has a tendency to feel stuck or inappropriately places loyalties. So you want to be careful in your life that you're being loyal to the right people, to the right things, and not sacrificing your own self in the process. Okay, so who was that? That was Rebecca. Angela, June 19th. Hey, that's my birthday. 1986, but you will be different than me, I guarantee it. 1986 in June 19th. You are 7 Etsnob. Etsnob is the obsidian knife. That is the energy that we have today, Etsnob, right? Where it is getting to the heart of something and cutting it out, surgically removing, if you will, anything that no longer works for you or isn't in alignment with the truth of who you are. Am I still live, you guys? Can you see me? Because I can't seem to scroll anything here. So anyway, that was for you. Now 7 energy is about merging, and it's merging. It's a day for bringing consciousness together with other people in the world. So you're merging consciousness. And Etznab, of course, then in the Pleiadian-Earth energy is self-regulating, right? So you have to be not in control of oneself, but you are the one that has the power to be the truth of who you are, right? So you have that power. That's 7 Etznab. Okay, and after Angela was Asa, 10, 11. Honey, I need the year of your birth, Asa. I'm going to need that so that I can... Oh, I'm so mad now because I can't scroll any further. My mouse is not connected. Turn my mouse off and then turn it back on. There we go. So my mouse got caught up. So Asa, in order for me to get yours for you, I'm going to need your birth year. And yeah, Allison, 12/14/70. So I'll do Allison's really quickly while I'm waiting for Asa. 12/14/70. 12/14. There you are. You were 9 Ebb. 9 Ebb. Ebb again is the road, and Ebb is choosing energy in the Pleiadian calendar. That is the collective healing and nurturing, settling differences, avoiding selfish choices, because you're on the road basically of healing others, helping others to heal. And that was 9 energy, which is harmonizing. So you may be faced often as maybe the peacemaker, the diplomat, trying to harmonize things, keeping things balanced and in harmony. So that's yours, Allison. Christine, 3/22/67. Let me go back just a couple of years here to March 22nd. You are 11 Muluk. 11, again, illuminating, a third person with that 11. You are here to bring in the light. Muluk is emotional energy. Muluk is the energy, the day of emotion. It's water energy, so water. And Muluk in Pleiadian is feeling energy, so a chance to deal with emotions, healing emotions, watching out for emotional reactivity in this lifetime. And let's see, after Christine is Jan, 4/23/81. 4/23/81. April 23rd. That's Debbie's birthday, April 23rd. And after some, okay, so you are 9 men. So 9 men. Men we had a couple of days ago, that's eagle, being able to rise up and see things from a higher perspective, being the disseminator maybe of information and of spiritual information. 9 was merging energy, bringing things together, merging them into oneness, perhaps. The voice, merging voices into oneness. That sounds like a choir director or a musician of sorts, right? Bringing different sounds together. That was you, Jan. And let me see down here for a second. Asa, 63. Okay. So Asa, let me go back up. You are 10/11/1963. 10/11. There we go. You were born on a 1 day. So you were born at the beginning of the week. 1 is creating energy. Shwen, monkey, creative monkey energy. Monkey energy is monkey, sort of the trickster, sort of the fun and humor, the light side of life. Shwen in the Pleiadian energy is the energy of illuminating. So you're almost creative illumination. Lightness, humor, peering deeply into the illusion, avoiding drama and the attachment to the illusion of things happening on this planet. So seeing into the real, not just the illusion. The illusion is the drawback for you. So you are 1 illuminating, creating energy. That's perfect for you, I think. Let me go back here. After Jan, we had Marjorie. Again, Marjorie, I'm going to need the year that you were born. I see October 9th, but I need the year. And Debbie Tibbetts, I've got yours, and let's see here, another April 23rd person. That's August. I need April 23rd, which is, Debbie, you were also born on a 1-day creative energy, creating Ben. Ben is the energy of the reed. It is also exploring energy. So you have harmonizing opposite points of view, exploring the world, kind of following your heart into new things, new experiences, avoiding being rigid or too critical, and that one energy again being creative. So you are one exploring in Pleiadian and one Ben, Ben, in the Mayan calendar. Kristen says 12:30:68 after sunrise. So 68, got to go back this way. Go to the end. 12:30. 12:30. Oops, that's why we're not finding it. There we go. You were born on 10 Etznob. So 10 is the energy of manifesting. And Etznob, again, the flint knife or the obsidian knife. So it's self-regulating energy in the Pleiadian-Earth energy. Universal Energy Day 10 is the same for both Mayan and for the Pleiadians, which is literally that energy of manifesting. A day that you were born was for manifesting or building upon what we have learned and manifesting from your previous work, but it can be challenging if your mind is focused on what you don't want as opposed to what you do. So learning how to manifest correctly here is what you're doing, Kristen. And Jody, January 9th, 1953. Let's move backwards here then to that year, January. So I got to go back to the beginning of that one. There we go. So January 9th. Oh, down here. You were born, this is the first person today, born on 13, and Kan, K-A-N, was the energy of the seed. It's a very fertile time, right? You're planting seeds in this lifetime. Not necessarily harvesting the results of those seeds, but planting seeds, the seeds of ascension. 13 is the number that prepares us for by completion, for ascension, for moving on to the next level. And Kan in the Pleiadian energy is planting energy, feeling lucky, energetic. It's good for new things, but you have to watch out for being irresponsible or being immature. And of course, that is, something I'm sure you worked through years ago in your chart or in your life, but it is a lucky sign for you. And then the energy of 13, completing unfinished business and integrating it so that you can begin a new cycle. So my guess is this is a lifetime where you're ending some kind of trajectory that was started many years ago, many lifetimes ago, and moving on to a new one. Okay, and that was for you, Jody. Elisa, who was the Marjorie? Did you put your 55? Okay, October 9th, 55. Let me put my cursor back here. 55. October 9th. You and I are the same. To Monique, right? To Monique. Monique is hand or deer in Mayan, and it represents spirit's tools. So you come with many different ways to work with whatever it is that you do in your life. If you're a teacher, you may teach lots of different subjects. If you're an astrologer like me, you may do several different types of astrology, but you come here with tools. And 2, the number of duality, always seemingly having to deal with opposites. And I can tell you, for example, in my own life, the opposites that I've always had to try to manage would be business and family. These are my forks in the road, right? Family on one side and business on the other. And sometimes family getting the attention because, of course, they're my heart, and letting go of what's going on in business. When I've not been able to merge the two very well, I have suffered tremendously in my life over that. So duality challenges you to look at and accept opposite points of view. Monique in the Pleiadian energy is the energy of remembering, peace-seeking, cooperative, loving, but sometimes working with being overly compromising and letting go of something that you really shouldn't have let go of. That was for you, Marjorie. Elisa is July 13th, 1986, moving this direction again. And July 13th, 1986 was 5 Eek. 5 is the number of change. That's our day on Saturday, the number of change. So this is a lifetime for you of change. And Eek was the wind. And the wind also is changeable. And I wonder then if you are a manifester in human design. That would be just my curiosity, wondering, because it would seem like you flit from thing to thing, which is totally appropriate for you in this lifetime, right? Because you're harmonizing various viewpoints and various ideas. So it's hard for you to lock onto and hold down one thing. Eek in the earth energy of the Pleiadians is breathing energy. So you are 5 breathing or 5 Eek in Mayan. So always disseminating information, moving from one thing to another, kind of like a butterfly or a bee, right? That flitting from thing to thing. And I wonder how much heat you've taken in your life over that, Elisa. Colleen, before sunrise. Okay, Colleen's 9/1/66, September, 66. I'm on 86. Go back. So before sunrise on that. So you're sort of in this cuspy area between 2 signs. And September 1st, did we miss your birthday, Colleen, or did we wish you a happy birthday? If we missed your birthday, happy birthday. Okay, September 1 was for Monique, or you may have still been working with the energy of 3 Kimmy. Kimmy energy is in human design, in Pleiadian, Kimmy is the energy of transcending differences, letting go of what no longer serves. And the shadow energy in that is sort of about hesitating inappropriately in making decisions or in jumping into or out of something, letting go. So this is energy of transcending. In the Mayan calendar, Kimmy or Simi was the energy of the death mask, and or the vulture, which always seems to represent in their hieroglyphics this energy of change, changing over, death, and not literally death, but changing over into new things, letting go of the old. Now, if you are resonating with the 4 Monique energy, you are also deer in that would be deer energy, spirits, tools. And the number 4, hold on, I didn't give you what the number 3 was. The number 3 would be creating energy. So it would be creating transformation or stabilizing by using your tools, using your gifts and your talents. So you probably work between both of those. I wonder, that probably feels so very unsatisfying to you as a Virgo, but it is literally kind of you sitting there in between 2 worlds. Tom, 3rd June. I know what your birth year is, luckily. June 3rd and 1961. I only know that because I was born in 61 and we share that same birth year. You are 12 Shwen. So 12 Shwen, you are 12 monkey. You're monkey. Eek, eek. Understanding monkey. You're here to help understand everything more deeply. The number 12 is about finding more understanding in the energy of Shwen, which in the Pleiadian energy is illuminating, right? That's illuminating energy. It's lightness, humor, peering deeply into the illusion, but not becoming the illusion, not living in the illusion. And I so see that in you. That is amazing. Watch out for drama or inappropriate connection to drama, like attachment to the illusion. It seems so real, right? But it isn't, right? It's all not real. So Yeah, I so see that. And 12, of course, was that number of understanding. So 12, understanding, and Schwinn. Okay. Is that right? June? Yeah. I'm just rechecking. So hold on. Yeah, 12 Schwinn. Okay. That's you, Tom. And Lynn, November 13th, Michigan. Not sure after midnight, after sunset. Okay, good. So Lynn, though, November 13th, what year? I need a year. Tom, you are a Minky. And Chanel, while I'm waiting for Lynn to give me the year, Chanel 3/18/81. 3/18/81. Got to move forward a few years here. 20 to be exact. 3/19/81. There we go. 3/18. Oh, March. That is 12 Kawayak. And Kawayak, remember, is the energy of the storm. In Mayan, it was sort of a symbol that looked like raindrops falling on the land, but through a dark sky. So it was a sort of storm energy. It might have even represented the storm that happens before the air is cleared. And Kawayak is the energy of catalyzing in the Pleiadian calendar. It's using challenges as creative opportunities. So a life with challenges, but they give you the energy to be creative and to move in new directions. And you need to watch for reacting with drama or disappointment to those things that pop up in your life. So 12 energy, of course, is that same thing of understanding these changes more deeply, understanding the challenges and the creative opportunities that they bring more deeply for you. Okay, let me check and see. Who was it that I was waiting for? I needed somebody's. Christine, Colleen, Asa, Michelle, good morning to you, my dear. I hope you're feeling better. Lynn, there you go, 1959. So Lynn, I'm going to find you again in here. There you go, November 13th, 1959. You are 3 Akbal. I'm just making sure I've got the date. And not sure you think after sunset. Okay, so yes, 3 Akbal. And the 3 energy is creating energy, right? It's the energy of creation, inspired to create new things, do things in new ways. It is all about the creative energy, creating energy. And the energy of Akbal is listening energy. In Mayan, Akbal was representing the night. So the night when things are quiet and hearing things more deeply, listening, really good listening energy. But it's also about practicing empathy, care, and responsibility. And the inappropriate energy here would be being pessimistic or controlling or troubled. You're really meant to be more in the lighter side of this energy. So 3 Akbal, even though you probably traverse the night many times. Okay, Tom, Chanel, I got you. Marjorie, I got you. Tom says, this is the Mayan thing that I meant giving our info and you looking it up. I knew what you meant. Asa, I did get yours. Latricia, you're welcome. Marjorie, I got yours. Rebecca says, thank you. Blah, blah. You're very welcome. Sarah says, thank you. No surprise for me. I'm good about getting to the truth of situations and helping people see equal truth. See, isn't it amazing just by knowing 2 little pieces, how profound that can be about an understanding of who you are. Christine Erickson, did I skip you? No, I didn't. I did 3/22/67. You were 3/22/67. You, if I remember, 3/22/67. You were, I might have missed you. Muluk. Nope, we did not miss you. You were 11 Muluk. So 11 was the number of illumination. Muluk is emotion. So you're here to enlighten emotional energy. And Muluk in the Pleiadian calendar was, Muluk, where'd you go? Is feeling energy. So it's, you're dealing with emotion, and your kind of Achilles heel is watching out for emotional reactivity. So we did do yours. So light on emotions, enlightening about emotions. Allison, you're welcome. And Christine, you're welcome. Debbie, Sarah, I think I got everybody, right, who wanted that. 3rd June daytime, I posted it right at the start of the segment. I got it. I got it. I got it. Christine, I'm already after 9, sweetie. I need to go, but maybe we'll do this another day and you can get your daughters, okay? And all of you, most welcome. I'm just reading through to see if there were any last questions. And Elisa, I got skipped. Elisa, I don't think I skipped you. I was looking at yours before I went on and did somebody else's. Let me go back, though, just to make sure. July 13th, 1986. Pretty sure we did that. But we'll just do it. Oh, again, 86. July 13th, 86. Remember, you were 5 eek. Was that you? Yeah, July 13th, 1986, 5 eek. Change and the wind. Remember, I was saying about someone that you might be a manifester type. I was speculating that because the 5 energy is the energy of change and eek is the wind. And that could be somebody that is leaping from thing to thing, like a butterfly or a bee going from flower to flower. But it is what you're here to do. And as you are in that process of change and moving around, you are disseminating information and ideas. That is what you are here to do. 5 eek. And eek in the Pleiadian energy is breathing energy. And it's harmonizing multiple viewpoints. It can be unpredictable energy. It can be fickle energy. So we'd have to look to your human design for help in discovering how you can manage that kind of powerful energy of change. It almost makes me think that you are a change agent. Like put in a group, you're going to cause it to change. That's kind of your path. All right. So I hope I did not miss anybody else. And you guys are all welcome. Michelle, I don't know, August, I don't know what yours is, but you can text me after the show and I'll get you yours. I'm glad to see you're up and about this time of the morning. I hope you're feeling well. I'm sure all of us join in wishing you well and being so glad to see that you're out and about again and up and feeling so good. All right, everybody, that is it for me. Have a wonderful weekend. Have a prosperous full moon. I will be back here on Monday to talk about what is likely going to be quite the energetic week next week, but in subtle ways, maybe overt ways, depending on the setup in your charts. And we'll look at Saturn changing directions. And there's something else fun next week. What was it? Saturn direct. I think it was mostly the human design that I was really interested in for next week. So we'll do all that on Monday. Take care, everyone. Bye for now. Go Hawks.